The story of David and Goliath is one of the most well-known and beloved stories in the Bible. It's a tale of a young shepherd boy who faced a mighty giant with only a sling and a stone, and emerged victorious against all odds. But this is not just a story about a physical battle between two individuals. It's a story about courage, faith, and the power of God to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. David, the youngest son of Jesse, was a simple shepherd boy who lived in Bethlehem. He was known for his bravery and his musical talent, but he was not a soldier. One day, the Philistine army came to wage war against the Israelites, and a giant named Goliath challenged the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him in single combat. Goliath was a formidable opponent, standing over 9 feet tall and heavily armed with a sword, a spear, and a javelin. The Israelites were terrified and did not know what to do. They were paralyzed by fear and did not have anyone who was brave enough to face Goliath. But David was not afraid. He had faith in God and believed that he could defeat Goliath. He volunteered to fight the giant, and King Saul reluctantly agreed to let him. David's courage and faith were put to the test as he faced Goliath on the battlefield. Goliath taunted David and mocked him, but David remained steadfast and confident. He refused to wear the heavy armor that King Saul had given him, instead choosing to go into battle with only his sling and his faith in God. As Goliath approached, David quickly loaded his sling with a smooth stone and let it fly. The stone struck Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell to the ground. David rushed forward, grabbed Goliath's sword, and used it to decapitate him. The Israelites were amazed and overjoyed at David's victory, and they hailed him as a hero. The story of David and Goliath has inspired courage and faith in people for centuries. It's a reminder that even when we face seemingly insurmountable challenges, we can still have faith and courage to overcome them. David was not a soldier or a warrior, but he had faith in God and the courage to face his fears. His victory over Goliath shows us that we can achieve great things if we have faith in God and are willing to take risks. But the story of David and Goliath also has deeper spiritual meanings. David's victory over Goliath was not just a physical battle, but a spiritual one as well. Goliath represents the forces of evil and darkness that threaten to overpower us and keep us from fulfilling God's plan for our lives. David represents the power of faith and the strength that comes from God. When we face our own Goliaths, we can turn to God for the strength and courage to overcome them. The story of David and Goliath also teaches us about the power of humility. David was not a great warrior or a powerful king, but he was humble enough to acknowledge his own limitations and to rely on God for strength. He did not seek glory or fame, but was content to serve God and his people. This humility is a key ingredient to a life of faith and service. In addition, the story of David and Goliath reminds us that our greatest victories often come from unexpected sources. David was a young shepherd boy with no military training, yet he was able to defeat Goliath with only a sling and a stone. This victory was not just a result of his faith and courage, but also his skill and preparation. David had spent many hours practicing with his sling and stones, honing his accuracy and timing. He was not just relying on luck, but had prepared himself for this moment. This is a lesson that we can all apply to our own lives. We may not face literal giants like Goliath, but we all face challenges and obstacles that require us to be prepared and skilled. Whether it's in our personal or professional lives, we need to be willing to put in the time and effort to develop our skills and abilities. We can't just rely on faith and hope to get us through tough times. We need to take action and prepare ourselves for the challenges that lie ahead. Another important lesson from the story of David and Goliath is the importance of taking risks. David knew that he was going up against a much larger and stronger opponent, but he was willing to take the risk anyway. He was not content to sit back and watch as the Israelites were defeated by the Philistines. He took action and stepped forward, even though it was a risky move. This is something that we all need to do from time to time. We can't always play it safe and stick to what we know. Sometimes we need to take a risk and try something new. Whether it's starting a new business, pursuing a new career path, or standing up for what we believe in, we need to be willing to take risks if we want to achieve great things. Of course, taking risks also means that we may face failure and setbacks along the way. David's victory over Goliath was not a guarantee, and he could easily have been defeated. But he was willing to take that risk, and it paid off in the end. This is something that we need to remember when we face failure and disappointment in our own lives. Failure is not the end of the road. It's a temporary setback that can help us learn and grow. If we're willing to take risks and try new things, We may face failure along the way, but we can also achieve great things and experience incredible victories. The story of David and Goliath also teaches us about the importance of staying true to ourselves. David could have tried to be someone he wasn't in order to impress King Saul or the Israelites. He could have worn the heavy armor and weapons that King Saul offered him, or he could have tried to fight Goliath in a way that wasn't true to his own abilities and strengths. But he didn't. He stayed true to himself and his own skills, and he was successful because of it. This is a lesson that we all need to remember in our own lives. We can't be someone we're not just to impress others or fit in with a certain group. We need to be true to ourselves and our own abilities, and trust that we have what it takes to succeed. In conclusion, the story of David and Goliath is a powerful reminder of the importance of faith, courage, humility, skill, preparation, risk-taking, and staying true to ourselves. It's a story that has inspired people for centuries, and will continue to do so for generations to come. Whether we face literal giants like Goliath, or more metaphorical ones in our own lives, we can draw strength and inspiration from David's example. We can have faith that God will be with us, and the courage to take risks and pursue our dreams.